a Gordon Ramsay fan cast. My name is Sam.
I'm Max.
And we are here to take you through an audio journey of all things Gordon Ramsay, starting with season 1 of Hell's Kitchen. And this, Max, can you believe, is episode 4.
I know, we're committing to it.
I know, I know this may only be our 4th episode, but it really feels like we're getting into it now.
Yeah.
We had mentioned after we watched this week's episode that it seems like this is the point when you finally get to know everybody and, you got rid of the people who didn't need to be there. And now
Jeff's gone. Now it's a real party.
Jeff's gone and now it's into the nitty gritty. One of these 8 jabronis is going to win a restaurant. Can you believe?
Is there 8?
Yeah, they're the final 8, I think. No, maybe it's 9.
It's 9.
So before we get started though, Max, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Now, we live together, so the pleasantries are just for show. So, how are we feeling after last week's episode?
After last week's episode, I feel like this episode, now that Jeff is gone, was way more chill.
Way less annoying.
Way less annoying, yeah.
Like last week, just to recap. Also, this is episode 4 in a serialized podcast, so if you haven't heard episodes 1 through 3, you can still chill, but you might not know who we're talking about. But yes, so last week we lost not only Jeff, who just quit, didn't even get eliminated, he quit.
We also lost Wendy, who thought cold water boils faster.
Yeah, so it was her time. But like I said,
it's been her time. Yeah, for real. Like the first episode, I forgot the potatoes.
Yeah, she forgot the potatoes the first episode, and it was just like I said. We've got the jokesters out of the way. Now it's into the nitty-gritty.
We got the jobbers. Time for the mini boss.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's time to get into it, into the nitty-gritty. So, what do you say we get started?
Where do you want to start?
Well, at the beginning, of course. Okay, so the show is still starting out with a 6-minute intro on why you should give a shit about Gordon Ramsay. London, England, known for its architecture, culture, and royalty. But now, England boasts a new king. The king of all chefs.
The king of all chefs.
Meet Gordon Ramsay.
Well, here he is.
A man of the people.
Here he comes.
He was raised on the working class streets of Glasgow.
Here comes a general.
But moved to London to pursue his dream. Cooking. I don't know what he says. So, I guess by the time they stop showing that 6-minute intro, I will have the whole thing memorized. Inadvertently.
That's why he's known as the bad boy of celebrity chefs.
Drives away in a convertible while talking on a tiny cell phone.
A flip phone, no less.
I don't think it's a flip phone. I think it's one of those little, Nokia. It's like a track phone.
It's something. It's something that's in 2 pieces.
I don't think it's in 2 pieces.
No, I'm pretty sure. Well, let's go watch it
We'll see
again.
next week. We'll see next week.
We'll see
Tune in for the thrilling conclusion to, is it a flip phone that Gordon Ramsay's holding?
How dated. Tune in next week to how dated is this fucking show.
It came out in 2005. It's not like it came out last year and you're like, wow. Anyway, let's get into it. So we start out our episode right where we left off from last week. Jess is all bummed out that Wendy's gone because she was a really sweet girl.
And they're getting on to be really good friends.
And the red team is like, hell yeah. They're pretty much, at one point Elsie says, without Jeff here, it finally feels like we can do what we need to do.
Yeah.
She's with him out of the way.
Jeff was really the anchor holding the red team down. And now that he's gone, well, let's see.
Yeah. Well, so last week, Wendy and Andrew were up for elimination because Andrew is a little bit of a smartass. So we start out seeing the blue team. Like I said, Jess is all bummed out. And Ralph and Andrew are having a nice little heart-to-heart. Because Ralph put him up for elimination. And so Ralph tells him he needs to check his ego and STFU.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, so Max doesn't like Andrew, I don't think, but I'd like him.
I don't like Andrew. I don't like him in a professional kind of way. I'm sure he's okay to
I think he's a worse person in real personally than he is professionally.
You think so?
I think so. I think the exact opposite of what you're saying is true.
Nah.
But I guess we'll see.
This is also 2005 Andrew.
Yeah, who knows what he's up to now?
He's probably
37 now.
He's probably grown since then.
He's younger than us on this show, but older than us in real life.
How crazy is that?
It's been 13 years. No shit, Sherlock. All right, so everybody goes to bed, blah, blah, blah. Next morning,
They wake up nice and early.
Nice and early with Marianne and Scott, the sous chefs, just holding air horns in their living room.
Man, I think the worst notes, all this note says, I love the sous chef's hair. Because Marianne's hair, she's got like a cool little pompadour kind of look going.
Yeah, she's got a cool hair.
Yeah.
She's got cool hair.
Look her up, Marianne.
So anyway, yeah, look her up. Just Google the words Marianne.
See what comes up.
So Marianne and Scott come in and wake them up real early because it's another day full of really tough challenges in Hell's Kitchen. And they were like, put on your whites, get in the kitchen, blah, blah, now.
Hell's Kitchen's fully booked tonight. We have to go.
Yeah, they seriously get up that early just to start prepping the kitchen, which is crazy.
It's not even until tomorrow, isn't it? Or was it the night?
I don't know. I think it's that same night. No, it's got to be the next day.
Well, either way, Hell's Kitchen is fully booked to my surprise and chagrin.
Yeah, they have to prep the whole kitchen, so they're up super early. Chris actually showed up on time. If you remember, last time they had to get up really early and be down there immediately. He just was brushing his teeth, taking his time, checking his emails. But yeah, so they go in to just do kitchen prep, early in the morning, and Gordon shows up, and guess what? It's time for a challenge.
It's time for a double dare physical challenge.
Kind of.
It kind of is. But their challenge is, so there are 2 tables set in front of them, and each one has just an array of perfectly organized and set dining table.
It's a full table setting.
It's a full table setting.
I think it's 60. Let me see.
It's 96 pieces.
96 pieces. Yeah, 96 piece table setting.
Yeah, it's a very fancy though. So you've got your appetizer forks and your entree forks and your little cup and your big cup and your bigger cup.
Yeah, 3 fucking glasses. And
what do you need that many glasses for? You've got the little cup and then
a water cup, a wine cup, and a something cup.
A teacup? No.
To mix the water and the wine together.
A shot?
But anyway, so they got old JP there, John Philippe, the maitre d' get her done. It's been a couple weeks since I made that terrible joke.
It's still terrible.
Well, you know what? That's your opinion. I think America will agree with me that Larry the Cable Guy always has been and always will be at the forefront, on the pulse of American comedy.
He's on the pulse of something. Have you seen him in those heart disease commercials?
No. Are you serious?
Yeah, he's for that medication that's Shantrix or something.
Shantrix is a smoking cessation drug.
Stop the podcast.
Pause.
Prilosec OTC.
That's heartburn. I thought you were about to tell me that Larry the Cable Guy was suffering from some terrible heart disease.
Well, he's suffering from some terrible heart something.
Well, I used to have really bad heartburn when I smoked, so it's a serious problem. Yeah. More serious than Jeff's fucking kidney stones, I'll tell you that for sure.
Anyway, Larry the Cable Guy.
So anyway, Larry the Cable Guy is setting the tables, and he's showing them, and first of all, it's early in the morning.
And everybody's half awake.
Everybody is half awake, and they cut to him, and they're like, everything JP says just goes in one ear and out the other. And the thing is, with hindsight, looking back, I know for a fact that Gordon was like, make this shit as dull as you possibly can. So he's like, what do you do with the fork? You put the fork next to the plate. It's just so
and he's like
slow
you grab the cup,
monotone.
You grab the glass by the stem. Never the glass.
Yeah.
By the stem.
It's the most boring thing in the world. And at one point literally everybody is about to fall asleep.
Michael he just closes his eyes. Just
96 pieces, and he takes at least 5 to 10 seconds explaining each one.
Well, you gotta know.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to run a restaurant, sure, you gotta know, but they don't give a shit. They want to cook, But so it takes JP an hour and a half.
An hour and a half? Maybe?
I don't know. I don't think they ever told us. I'm just pulling that number out of my ass.
I think they said a half hour.
The longest half hour of anybody's life.
Because it was so boring.
Right, but then
everybody's asleep, and then Gordon's like,
"What's up? Wake up!
Wake up!"
And so old Gordo shows up, and he's like, "Did you guys learn a lot today? Everybody paying attention?" And you can see in his eyes that look that you get from your elementary school teacher, or high school teacher, I guess, when you were definitely asleep in class.
The meanest elementary school teacher.
When I fell asleep in class in middle school or elementary school. God, did I even go to school?
Did you?
I did, unfortunately. But when your high school teacher looks at you and they're like, "Did you hear what I just said?" And you're like, mm-hmm. Full well, your ass fell asleep with your head in your hand for a second. And they're like, "Did you hear that part?" And you're like, mm-hmm.
Well, there's some teachers who do that on purpose, though. Just talk, is like in the most boring, like monotone way possible. You know which teacher I'm talking about, do
I'm
you?
looking at you, Mr. Interdonato.
Mr. Sam Donato, man.
Putting him on blast.
Man, there was one
What's
class
up, dude?
with Mr. Donato where he just like, I don't know how he got him to do it, but he just started telling us his like stone brick pizza recipe because he's very Italian.
He's super Italian, and he always talked about his secret spaghetti sauce recipe and how none of us would ever know.
Yeah, and like we were taking,
because it's a secret.
And like, but like he was telling us about this pizza recipe, and like we were taking notes, and he's like, so here's what you do. First, you gotta toss the dough, make it very thin, curl it up at the sides. Then you gotta get then while you're doing that, you get your sauce ready, and while that's all going on, you gotta get the fire going in the brick stone oven,
which you just conveniently have, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he just has in his backyard, but we're like furiously taking notes,
like it's like the most intense learning anyone had ever done in that classroom.
Yeah, because we didn't want to do like any actual work.
Oh,
we literally spent the whole class just talking about that.
That's pretty dope, though.
Yeah, it was a dope class.
He used to have a spatula that he hung on the whiteboard that he could give to people to fling their boogers with or something. What's up, Sam Interdonato?
He used to, like, whenever a kid fell asleep in class, he would just shake their desk and go, earthquake.
But he would, like, talk like he'd be like, earthquake. Hope you're doing well, Mr. Interdonato. Thanks for listening to our podcast.
I'm sure you are.
Gordo is like, were you guys paying attention? Yeah, I fucking know you weren't. Well, guess what? Rips the tablecloth off the table, everything falls on the floor, and whoa, predictably.
He's like my magic trick.
Predictably. Oh shit, it's a challenge. So they each have a table. They get 5 minutes. Yeah, it is a double dare physical challenge. They get 5 minutes to reset all 96 pieces on the table, exactly like JP had them. 5 minutes, that's a lot of pieces.
Yeah, and the one who wins is the one who makes the fewest mistakes.
Right. Which, I don't know how they were counting the mistakes, because it was a very low-scoring game, mistakes-wise, and it was a mess. But so, the blue team starts out, Jessica puts the tablecloth on upside down. Jimmy's taking forever with the napkins. Everybody's disagreeing.
Yeah, Jimmy's like being a bumble king. He's like...
Yeah, like, the theme of this episode is Jimmy's big and clumsy. Like, they say, 8 different things about it.
Jimmy's a big doof.
Well, I mean, he's chill.
Yeah, he's chill, but he's just like he's got big fingers.
Yeah, he's just a big dude.
And Chris is like, man, they're too. Like, he's not delicate. He's dropping
glasses. So he's not folding the napkins well, and everybody keeps touching the glasses. They're not holding them by the stem, like JP said. So there's fingerprints all over the glasses, right?
Yeah. So, and Jimmy keeps dropping the glasses that he picks up, and JP is just like looking at him with the deathless glare, just like wide eyed, like. Yeah. like quit dropping the glasses.
Those are my favorite glasses. Yeah, so they set the tables in 5 minutes. There's a couple of problems. A lip on the red team is over the edge of the table. So if you sit down, Gordon says, boom,
kablam,
right in the face. Yeah, kablam. They're gonna hit it. It's gonna go fly in their face. Soup all over the guests. The blue team, they've got their wine glass. The base of the wine glass is under the edge of the plate, so you have to untuck it.
For some reason,
you don't want to have to do that.
But why would they do that? That seems obvious to me.
They probably didn't mean to.
They're also very sleepy. You have to remember.
They also weren't paying attention at all. I think they were probably honestly just lucky for all of them to get all of the pieces on the table that needed to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mistakes though. The red team has 4 mistakes, including Jimmy's shitty napkins and all those fingerprints and the lip off the edge of the table. And what was the 4th one? I've almost got all of them.
The 4th one was, I think it had something to do with the tablecloth. Or maybe I'm making it up.
Well, and then the blue team had the bottom of the glass underneath the lip of the thing.
And that was it.
I don't remember. But so the red team has 4 mistakes, the blue team has 3, which means for the first time ever, the blue team are like the preliminary challenge winners.
Everybody give it up for the blue team. You did a great job. You did it. I'm so proud of you. You did it. Yay.
So the blue team, they're like, you go back to the dorms immediately for your prize. Red team, you guys have to stay here and polish 200 glasses and all the silverware for the whole restaurant. Which I think in comparison to the blue team's problem last week and the week before is not that bad.
Last week they had to gut the squid.
No, that was 2 weeks ago. Last week they had to clean the whole dorm all by themselves.
So literally the red team got off easy.
Yeah, the red team, I didn't think it was that bad.
I mean, I would be chill just polishing shit.
Yeah, and this is another scene where Jimmy is just a big old klutz because he's polishing glasses and dropping them and breaking them and everything.
And JP's
JP's standing over their shoulder
breathing out his nose like a bull,
I hope that. I wish that the audio could pick up the face Max makes when he does that sharp breathe out through the nose. But yeah, so Jimmy's a big old klutz breaking glasses and stuff. The blue team, their prize is they get back to the dorm, and Scott, the sous chef, is waiting there with a bunch of robes, and he's like, "Sure feels good to win, doesn't it, bros?" But and they open it up, and there's
Bryce?
yeah. You know, I was gonna say bros, guys. I don't know.
Bros, brigals,
regalias. So they open up the door. There's all these massage tables and pedicures and manicures and all this stuff. So they get a spa day,
which honestly I think is like a pretty lame prize compared to like having dinner and going to the bar with Gordon twice.
That's true. Yeah, the red team's like bros with Gordon. Maybe he hates the blue team so much that he's like, whatever you do,
he doesn't
not let them hang out with me.
Yeah, he does not want to be near Andrew. I feel.
Do you think that's what it is?
It's gotta be.
Maybe it's just the luck of the draw. But it seems like, I don't know. We've said before, the red team, he might favor him a little bit. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But so JP, for those of you who don't know, JP is the maitre d'. Should I just call him Larry the Cable Guy? The maitre d', Larry the Cable Guy, makes Chris take champagne back to the blue team. He's like, do you know what the blue team is doing? And they're like,
I can't tell if that's offensive or not, that accent you're doing.
It's just bad. What is the joke that I'm trying to make? Do you know? I feel like this is a joke that I do with our little sister. I think that's where this voice comes from.
Yeah, it's something to do with Belly.
Do you know what the blue team is doing right now? It's like 6 different things at the same time. But all we know is that it's bad.
It is.
Anyway, so really JP makes Chris take champagne to the blue team. And so Chris goes in with a bucket of champagne. And of course, the blue team, I have written here, they just have to be assholes about it. Because they come in and they're like, hey, Chris. Oh, I would get up, but I'm just so relaxed. Do you want to take a taste of the champagne?
Ralph's getting like a pedicure.
Yeah, he's like, do you want a taste of the champagne before you go? And Chris is like, no thanks, guys. I got work to do. He's pretty chill about it.
Yeah.
And
he's like, yeah, it's time for the blue team to get one. I just wish they weren't assholes about it.
I feel like he's not even like, yeah, it's their turn. I think that he's just like, no, I gotta go polish these dishes. And Ralph's like, are you sure you don't want to taste the champagne? Oh, I wish you could stay. And it's like, you guys shut the fuck up. If somebody lost and brought in champagne to me, what would I do?
I'd be like, oh, cool, thanks. Sorry
I'd be
about
like,
that.
What's that? This is dope. Give me that booze. Later.
I'd be like, hey, I'm so sorry.
This must be very uncomfortable for you. We're all naked under these robes.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so that's what the blue team gets. They get to be pompous assholes and stuff. And
they get to be kings and queens for a moment.
For a moment.
For like an hour.
Yes. Should we go over at this point just real quick who's left?
Okay, let's see.
Before we get into the dinner service.
Yeah, so on the red team, we've got Chris,
Michael, executive chef.
Chris, executive chef. Michael,
sous chef or something.
Elsie,
mother of 6. I said mother of 3 last week at one point. I meant mother of 6.
How could you kill 3 of her children in one word?
I killed their memory with one word. Okay.
Yeah, and then Jimmy.
Sales executive.
Okay, and
or like merchandising person.
He's something. He's definitely something.
He does something to do with sales. And then
I think that's it on the red team. It's just Chris, Elsie, Michael, and Jimmy. And with Jummy my notes with a U. Okay, and then on the blue team we've got Jessica.
Headhunter.
Mary
Weird
Ellen.
hair. Mary Ellen. Bartender. Sweet girl.
Ralph.
Restaurateur.
Andrew.
Young restaurateur.
So is that
worked in a family restaurant.
Is that really 4 on every team?
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying, because they lost 2 last week.
That's true. Okay, yeah, that makes sense now.
They're down to the final 8.
Alright, anyway.
8 is great.
They have their nice little spa hour. It's not even like a day, it's just like, oh, this is the afternoon.
Yeah. And so then they cut to everybody on their little smoking and drinking patio that they have at the dorms where everybody just chills out. And they notice, I don't know who it is. Is it Chris that's sitting at the table? And he looks up and he's like, hold the fuck up. And he looks up and he stands up. He goes, guys, come here. Come here, you have to see this.
Oh, yeah, when they're outside?
Yes, and there is a huge billboard of Gordon Ramsay's face over the patio where they sit, and they're like, oh man, that sucks. It's like he's just watching us all the time.
Like, it's just staring down at them.
It's staring directly down at them.
Listen, you guys don't understand. This thing is fucking huge, and it's right there.
It's so funny.
It's so,
and,
it's so, what am I trying to say?
Opposing.
It's so ominous.
Oh, what's opposing mean? That's not what I meant. Imposing?
It's so imposing. It's so ominous. It's terrifying. It really shows the power of Gordon Ramsay.
It really shows the power of advertising. But the thing is, they're like, how did we not notice this before? So in theory, it's been there the whole time.
Yeah. In theory.
In theory, but I don't know if it has been. I don't know if I believe it.
Maybe they snuck it in overnight.
They would have noticed. They spend every waking minute that they're not in Hell's Kitchen out on that patio smoking cigs.
That's true, and drinking beers and sleeping in hammocks.
And sleeping in hammocks, Dewberry.
There's like 3 hammocks out there.
I wish I had 3 hammocks.
What would you do with 3 hammocks?
Probably just try to keep the cats off of them all the time. That's all I would have time to do with the hammocks.
Would you combine them into like a super hammock?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can based on the way that hammocks are built. Because they're set when you get in it, it kind of like wraps you up like a burrito. If you put 3 of them together, you're still just going to be wrapped up in that one.
Yeah, but then you'll have so much room to roll around.
Yeah, but you won't roll around because you'll fall through the middle of it.
Well,
who rolls on a hammock? Have you ever been on a hammock?
No.
Okay, as someone who has been on a hammock at a certain Bonnaroo music festival, I can tell you for certain that for big folks like us, it's not fun. It's comfortable once you get into it.
That's why you combine the 3. You can get like a big parachute.
Yeah, no, that's not how hammocks work, dude. That's not how hammocks work.
It's not like sleeping in a big parachute.
No, it's not like no. Parachutes are no. Anyway, so they go to the kitchen and they're prepping for dinner, and Gordon is adding 2 new fine dining options to their menu. The 2 staples of his restaurants.
1, the bird from New York.
Yeah, pigeon, which is apparently a fine dining thing. If someone was like, we have pigeon, I'd probably be like, ew.
Aren't they like the rats of the sky?
Yeah, aren't they like sky rats?
You call them the rats of the sky. Why are you serving them?
But apparently it's like
dining.
Well, I think it's a French thing though. I think it's a French thing.
The French are like, oh, the rats
in
like,
the sky. Pigeon. Sacre bleu.
Oh no, I made the bad pigeon.
Yeah.
That's my David Cage impression.
And then the other thing that they make are frog legs. So they have to make 2. They have to learn how to make frog legs and pigeon.
Oh, I somehow missed the frog legs. I didn't even know.
Here's the thing. Let me say one thing about frog legs. Every time I see, because this is not my first Gordon Ramsay joint that I've watched.
This isn't your first time.
This isn't my first rodeo. I almost said rodo. This ain't my first rodo.
Frodo.
However, it is my second Frodo. Every time I see somebody hold up a raw pair of frog legs, right? My first thought is, she thick. Because the frog legs are always like so thick, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, where'd frogs get those good looking legs?
What frog do I have to kill to get those legs?
Yeah, what frog do I have to curse in order to have such beautiful legs? So that's my hot take on frog legs.
Okay.
Anyway, so they have to learn how to make frog legs. And so this is their fourth dinner service.
Yes.
And they have yet to successfully complete a dinner service.
So Gordon,
first one ended in tragedy. People started leaving.
Second one,
they ordered a pizza. Third one, girl just upended her glass of wine on the table and they all left.
And someone barfed.
Oh yeah, she barfed in her own purse. Fourth one, first team to serve all of their diners is safe. They have to finish. And the first team to serve all of their diners is safe from elimination. Who do you think's gonna win?
I don't know. Is anybody gonna get their dinners at the Hell's Kitchen service?
Oh yeah, we're back to this. Max is all worried about people getting their food. They're fine. They're getting paid to be there. It's fine. So while the blue team is prepping their kitchen, the red team, since they lost yesterday's challenge, has to set every table in the dining room. They have to set every single table perfectly. So and that's 96 pieces, right? 6 people per table, 50 per each team. That's 100 diners divided by 96. Carry the 2. Square root of 9 is 3.
Are you just making shit up? Okay,
No, the square root of 9 is 3.
I mean, I don't know math, so I figured I was telling about it. I was like, oh
Yeah, makes sense to me.
That makes sense. The square root, yeah.
No, so they're losing time. I wrote here. Losing time.
So because they have to like set all the tables and then go to the kitchen.
And then prep. Yeah, like they don't have extra time to do this. It's during their prep time. So this could definitely set them back during the dinner service. But so finally they finish it up and they're able to go, right? And so the red team's standing there, and this is a good moment because JP's like, all right, you're all done. You can go. And Elsie and Michael and Jimmy all run because they have so much work to do. And Chris, as he's running by, shakes JP's hand.
Oh, yeah,
and I was like,
yeah, and he's like, thanks, JP.
Yeah, he goes, thank you. And he shakes his hand as he's running by. And I was like, that's chill.
Growing.
I was like, good job, Chris. That's awesome. But see, the thing is, Chris is an executive chef. So I think that I don't know. They got to have their villains. You know, this is reality TV. But I think that Chris is actually a good dude on the inside. Yeah. Also, a subplot of this episode is that Chris and Elsie are BFFs. They are like BFFs. We'll get into that a little bit later because I have some more notes on them. But I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about while they're prepping in the blue kitchen. At one point, like Grav was like explaining the recipes, and like Andrew was just like having trouble following along or something.
He's on the garnish station, so he can't remember what veggies go with what meat.
Yeah, so
because it's rocket science apparently.
Yeah, apparently it's rocket science. So Ralph, he takes some duct tape and just like writes it down. He's like, it's a cheat sheet, and he tapes it underneath the oven. And I'm not sure if that's cheating or not.
I don't think it's like the most professional thing.
But if it helps,
does it ever come back up?
Not in this episode, no.
Not in this episode. See, I feel like I vaguely remember something. Maybe it's something because backtrack. I've seen this whole season already, so I know the end. You know the end too. You saw like the last 3 episodes, but anyway.
Yeah. But
I feel like I vaguely remember this coming back to haunt Andrew, but I'm not sure if it's possibly in a future episode or if it's just, you know, when he does that, you're like, uh-oh, he's gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, so I guess it's just like that feeling.
Yeah, that feeling of like, uh-oh.
Yeah, but so he's got that to help him.
So in the red kitchen, Elsie is on the meat station for the first time ever. She's got to cook all the meat, the lobster, the lamb, everything. And Michael's like,
the Wellington,
everything. And Michael is like, I don't know about those guys. He's pretty nervous about it, but I believe in Elsie, mother of 6. But so they get started, and Elsie is making her lobster spaghetti. And Gordon is like, how long on lobster? And she's like, 10 minutes, chef. And he's like, 10 minutes. She's like, no, 5 minutes, chef, 5 minutes. And he's like, what? 5 minutes? And she goes, 2 minutes, chef, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. And he's like, okay, calm down. Just calm down. Okay. How long, Elsie? And she goes, 2 minutes. And he goes, okay, thank you. And he like walks away. And Chris
like starts panicking.
Yeah, and Chris is like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And she goes, I don't know. I just started yelling out numbers. And it was hilarious, I thought. But she gets her shit together. Of course, Queen Elsie does. She knows what's up. Andrew, even though he's got all these cheat sheets, is still sending up the incorrect garnishes. I guess he's not listening when Gordon's calling out the orders or something like that. But he's on like a completely different order that everybody else is on. So
yeah, but they're still both teams are doing okay. Like pretty good.
To begin with, yeah, they're doing all right. Jimmy tried to send up a cold garnish. Gordo said that if he does it again, he's washing pans. So that's fun. He yells at him a little bit, and every time Gordon yells at Jimmy, or like even like when Jeff left, you know, Jimmy was like, "You're gonna quit because some guy yelled at you? Whatever, I can take some guy yelling at me." You know, it doesn't really faze him all that much. He just kind of goes back and like does it again, and it works out from then on because he's like, if you fuck up anything else, you're washing dishes the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And Jimmy doesn't have to go wash dishes, so turned out okay. Andrew, on the other hand, is all over the place, right? He's running around giving wrong garnishes, talking back to Gordon, all this stuff. Gordon had yelled at me and been like, fucking look at me! And he fucked it up so bad that he fucked up the vegetables so bad that Gordon made the blue team redo an entire table that was like completely done. They were missing like one garnish on one dish, and he fucked it up, and he made the blue team do everything over again.
Was that what happened?
Yeah. They had to redo the whole table because Drew fucked up the veggies.
Okay, I missed that note. I think my notes just kind of skipped over the whole dinner service for some reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, So Gordon, gives Andrew the business, really chews him out a good one. And Andrew's kind of like, yeah, chef. And you hear Gordon's voiceover, and he's like, the fact that Andrew didn't snap back at me means that he's learning that discipline. And he's learning what it's like to work in a kitchen. I think that's really important. And I think, I say this all the time when we're watching MasterChef, but Gordon wants you to get better. You know what I mean? Like, he's not like,
he's not the asshole that like the marketing puts him out to be.
well, I think he has to be for Hell's Kitchen, but it's like on the Great British Baking Show, right? They don't take into account when they're kicking somebody off how much better you've gotten over the course of the thing. They're just looking at what you did this week. You know what I mean? Whereas Gordon really takes into account the progress that people make. Even if they might have had a bad week, they've really grown from week one. It's like when Wendy got eliminated. Like, Andrew maybe should have gotten eliminated last week just because of his bad attitude. However, he has shown definite promise and like growth in the kitchen, whereas Wendy did not need to be there.
Right.
So my next note says Chris is being supportive of Elsie, which I love because
she's doing the meats real good, and he's just like, yeah, woo.
Yeah, he used to be like, yeah, girl, yeah, woo, and he's like joking, but like
he's like, yeah, baby, yeah.
Yeah, at one point, like when they're getting towards the end, he gets in her face and he's like, yeah, girl, we got this, and it's so funny. I was like, man, why did I hate Chris my first time watching this?
I think he's really excited at the idea of getting a dinner service done.
Maybe so. I think that they're all hyped up because Jeff is gone, honestly. They all hated him so much. And now that he's gone, they like really feel, yeah.
Yeah, cut toxic people out of your life.
Yeah, so cut back over to the blue kitchen. Everything's going great in the red kitchen. Elsie's killing it. Everything's delicious. They haven't really had any plates sent back.
Gordon at one point said the Wellington is spot on, and Elsie was crying in her interview, like she's like, my meat, he said it was spot on, and I've never been happier in my entire life.
It's her first time on the meat station, dude. She fucking killed it. I love it.
Okay, so blue kitchen is doing great
until
let's
backtrack for a second. Mary Ellen, bartender, beautiful girl, is doing
beautiful, isn't she?
She's a beautiful girl. She's doing the appetizers, and she's killing it to begin with.
And then cut to a table. They take a spoonful of their risotto. Oh, that's mushy
and bland. Apparently, it's just really gross. And like the thing is, the server is standing there talking to them, and JP comes over and he's like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "It's just kind of mushy." And like Ralph takes a bite of it, and he's like, "That sucks. That's bland," And so Gordon makes them redo all three of them. And then
do they have to redo the whole tables or just the risottos?
Yeah, they had to go back, redo the risotto first thing, and redo all of the tables that they were already working on because then the food got cold.
Yeah.
And Gordon said at that point that the kitchen died on the back of those risottos.
Like, yeah, he said he's basically said like nobody cook anything until these risottos are made, and it really kind of set
everybody back. Yeah, for sure. And my next note is I think Chris and Elsie are BFFs. I love it. I just love it. Yeah, I'm always into like watching people be friends.
Yeah, watching people grow and connect. Mm-hmm. That's why I love Terrace House.
Yeah, that's what Terrace House is good. So next one, red team finished first. Elsie handled the meat station for the first time and killed it. She killed it. She did a great job. I think the whole red team did a really good job.
Yeah.
So
hardly any complaints.
So once the red team finishes, they shut down the blue kitchen, and Jessica gets to nominate who's going home from the blue team.
Oh yeah, because
she's the best of the worst. I think she was on the meat station as well.
Yeah, she's doing her meats real good.
She did a good job. So they say Gordon, Jessica, go back to the dorms. Let everybody bother you for 30 minutes.
Here's my thing about that. It's crazy to me that the blue team like got to like relax and like de-stress and just unwind before the big thing. I think that set them back.
They let their guard down.
Yeah, because the red team, they had to set the entire dining room tables, all of them, then go back and prep their kitchen before dinner service, and they still won.
Yeah, they fucking killed it. It's because they're all better. You got three hard hitters on the red team. You got Michael, who was on the blue team. You got Chris and his best friend Elsie, and they're killing it. And Jimmy is good too. Like Jimmy is
a good like
efficient.
Sidekick. Yeah.
Efficient. Like he gets it done. Whereas on the other side you've got Ralph who wants to be in charge. Andrew who doesn't want to listen to Ralph. Really.
I think Andrew also wants to be in charge.
I don't think that he wants to be in charge so much as he doesn't want to listen to Ralph. I don't think he wants to be in charge of everybody. He just doesn't want anybody to tell him what to do.
Yeah.
you know.
Also, I'm sure he like
I'm
held
like
some
that.
resentment to Ralph because of the peaches thing last week.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
Possibly. And then you got Mary Ellen
he's
who
like, I don't trust Ralph's judgment.
well, and I think Jess is finally getting into a headspace where she's just doing the job. She's just getting shit done.
Mm.
You know. And then you got Mary Ellen, who was doing great, and then her risotto's fucked up. So Mary Ellen, who ruined dinner service, somehow does not think that she's gonna go up for elimination.
Because she and Jessica are friends.
Yeah, she and Jessica are friends, so she doesn't think she said that she's like not even worried about it. She called Gordon Ramsay an asshole, I'm pretty sure, in one of her interviews. Or one of her interviews. I think she said she wanted to like punch him in the face or something like that.
Yeah, that's when it's like when he said like she's like we have to do the whole table again for one garnish. I wanted to punch him in the face.
Yeah, she wanted to punch him in the face. She didn't, but she wanted to. But Andrew, so they cut to Andrew, and every time they cut to him, it's like he's supposed to be on Jersey Shore or something. He's like, oh yeah, so Gordon's mad at me because like I messed up the garnish, and he's mad at me last week because I couldn't wash my mouth, and this week I did wash my mouth, and I still fucked everything up. He's like, and you know what? He's like, yeah, survive elimination one time, yeah, but you think I can survive the chopping block twice? And he goes, thumbs down, and he goes. And I was like, ha 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 ha, got him.
What a child.
My note says Andy made a thumbs down with fart noise about surviving elimination twice. But so Jess nominates Andrew for mixing up the garnish and just throwing everybody off. And who do you think she nominates? Andrew and who? Mary Ellen. Because
Jeff.
No, she nominates Mary Ellen, and Mary Ellen is shocked, right?
Yeah, like Andrew's like got a frowny face. He's like,
Yeah, but he says, because Gordon always gives you a chance, he says, why do you think you should stay? Andrew says he should stay because he finally learned to keep his mouth shut, and he is a, quote, learning machine. And Gordon's like, learning machine?
He's like,
you fucked up the vegetables.
But Gordon's like you're like, this is the second time you've been up here. You know what that tells me? Tells me your teammates don't like you very much. And you cut to Jessica, and she just kind of like nods, just like
the thing about Jessica is she doesn't think, didn't this happen? No, this happened to Elsie in the beginning, but Jessica does not think that he's gonna send Mary Ellen home. I think that's part of the reason she nominated Mary Ellen is because she didn't want to get on Ralph's bad side, or she wanted to make the right choice, but she didn't think that Mary Ellen would go home. But this is what happened to Elsie when she nominated Carol Ann and Dewberry because she thought Dewberry would go home, but really it was Carol Ann. Anyway, so Andrew says he should stay because he kept his mouth shut. Mary Ellen said she could stay because she started off well in the beginning, and then she shut the kitchen down. But her reason that she should stay is because she started out well in the beginning.
That's her reason.
That's her reason, not I was a bartender and now I'm cooking like risotto. Like, who's even heard of that?
Like, the reason I should stay your babysitter is because when I started the night, I was reading them bedtime stories and making peanut butter sandwiches. And then they're hanging upside down in the treehouse, and I'm over here with a chainsaw. And that's why you should continue hiring me.
First of all, I was like, what kind of babysitter did you ever have? And I was like, well, we had some shitty babysitters, but we never had a tree house. So I know this isn't based on true events.
It's not.
Anyway, so Mary Ellen gets eliminated. Bye, girl. What?
I was making a joke. Yeah. Someone will find my anecdote funny.
Yes, and we'll have to cut out half of this stuff. But anyway, Mary Ellen gets eliminated. Bye, girl.
Yeah,
and Jessica is shocked.
In her like, whenever somebody gets eliminated, they have like a walking away interview where they're walking down where they take off their jacket and they're walking down the hall. And Mary Ellen's interview's like, I think Gordon made the wrong decision tonight. And I'm like, you fucked up the risotto. It's at the tape. It's at the tape.
She thought Andrew should go home, which, I mean, I get it because it's his second week up for elimination, but Gordon saw that he was becoming disciplined. He takes that into consideration.
Yeah, and you literally fucked up 3 risottos.
And then I think also because she didn't take responsibility for her mistake.
She didn't.
So you gotta take responsibility. Gordon says, you're a lucky boy. Very lucky. To Andrew.
Very lucky indeed.
Okay, so Jess is shocked because she definitely did not think that Gordon would send Mary Ellen home. But he did, and Andrew's a lucky boy. Very lucky. And so I've got my moment of wisdom for the week. It doesn't come from Gordon this week.
And then the episode ends. See you next week on Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, look. Oh, man, I'm glad I put this arrow here because I was like, if I don't put this arrow here, I'm going to forget I have one last note, which is important. Gordon Ramsay says it's very important to grow and be consistent. And Mary Ellen's inconsistency is what sent her home.
Yeah.
So Andy got to stay because he's growing and learning.
And becoming disciplined. And Mary Ellen can go fuck herself.
That's right. So that brings us down to 7. Can you believe?
Can you believe? What's gonna happen next week?
Probably more cooking, good and bad.
More cooking, more looking,
more booking. That's right. Next
another
week
Full
we're
House.
going to jail. No. But yeah, thank you for listening to our 4th episode of Hell's Bitchin'. We're having so much fun so far. Thank you so much for listening to Hell's Bitchin' episode 4. I'm so glad you guys are here with us on this journey so far.
It's been a wild ride.
We're having a great time, honestly. We just sit around and watch cooking shows all the time anyway. So actually having something to do with our time that is spent, like putting it into like a productive thing has been really fun so far, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with episode 5. In the meantime, please share the show with your friends, family, coworkers, loved ones. Put it on your Gordon Ramsay message boards,
Send it to Gordon Ramsay.
Send it to Gordon. We have nothing but nice things to say about Gordon himself, so, our main problem is with Jeff.
Well, thank God he's gone.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with episode 5. Can you believe it? And
Sam, what is our Hell's Bitchin' moment of wisdom?
This week's Hell's Bitchin' moment of wisdom comes to us not from the words of, or the mouth of the king.
The king of all chefs.
The king of all chefs. But from the mouth of the court jester. That's right. Andrew has got this week's moment of wisdom. When you're facing the devil in Hell's Kitchen, shut your fucking mouth.
Fucking yes, mate!